Hello, welcome to my Japan guide. So let's begin with the political power. The first thing you would want to do is to get the decisive battle guy. I think that is how it's spelled. Then you get the ground support. After that, I would recommend you to get the morale because non-combat out of supply penalties is quite nice. After these three, you may want to get the extensive conscription, and then also at some point after these, when you start building military factories, you get the war industrial sky, but it comes after that. And before getting the doctrines, I would recommend you to get the Yamashita too. So with the spirit time of the army, you get the first 35 XP goes to the state's first military. That way you can bypass the silent workhorse guy. Then you get political loyalty because it offsets the at war penalty and you end up with 100 stability at war. Then of course the doctrines, and getting this logistical focus division command is quite nice too. You obviously go grand battle plan infiltration as Japan. The template I would recommend is is 9-1 and support engineer, support artillery, support anti-air. So let's just add them too. So let's just research them quick so that we can add them. And also when you get the engineer 2, you may want to create a medium flame tank from your interwar medium tank chassis. Put a flamethrower and make the cheapest flamethrower tank that you can build. So like this, and the division that you should use will be this one. And when you get the rocket artillery, I would recommend you to search it and put a support rocket artillery here too. So this is what the final division looks like. But as obviously these three can come later after the war in China ends. Before the war in China, you should basically use this division. This is enough for defeating China. For holding the line, this is good. And you can, after defeating China and using these to hold the line, you can add a support artillery, support anti-air, and engineer to use this as a garrison for the Pacific Islands and ports. So this is the garrison template you should use. Don't use tanks. I usually go for 20 with Marines with the exact same support equipment as I use in infantry, as you can see. What this medium flame tank does is it gives amphibious attack, fort attack, river attack, the jungle attack. These are all the things that you need, even the urban attack. So you can get it for an extremely cheap price, and therefore I recommend you to do so. It is like half the cost of an engineer company. When it comes to focus 3, you obviously go to purge the Kadawa faction if it has historical multiplayer. Then guide the Zaibatsu's national mobilization law, national research policy, then nationalize war industry and national defense state. Around this point, you may also want to take the extensive conscription so that you don't run out of manpower. After that, you rush to Marco Polo Bridge incident. Then you can get spiritual mobilization. After that, you go for the new naval estimates. After the BBA changes, this part is pathetic, really bad. So you go for the supremacy of the battle fleet. And you also want to take the Kure naval arsenal when you can, and refit your battleships with that, and get two, basically 1.25 superior battleship completed with this side. Then you also want to go for the long range torpedo, and also obviously after that you want to go to the war with United States, so you need to research these two. Also, qualification is also nice, the synthetic resources bonus. Then you can, after all these are complete, of course, you get the supremacy of will from this path. And that's it. There's not much else to do with the Japanese focus tree. When it comes to Navy, after the last changes, aircraft carriers became really OP. So what you should do with aircraft carriers is to put as many hangar spaces as you can. Don't put any armor, and put the best engine you can, so that you can make a fast, cheap carrier that carries a lot of planes, and fill it with torpedo bombers. Don't put any fighters, naval fighters on your top of your carriers. Just pure torpedo bombers is what you should do. And you should also escort them with light cruisers. So that is the naval meta now. Light cruiser depends on the design. I'm not gonna make a light cruiser design because it depends on the things that you want to do, the things that you are expecting to fight. Like what is the type of navy the Americans will make. It depends on that. And obviously you want to get, in my opinion, at least 60 divisions, infantry divisions, before Pearl Harbor, and you should max out the Marines as you can do that. Don't build any motorized, don't build any tanks, don't build cavalry. So these are the tips that you should be aware. Also, let's come to the aircraft designs. What I would recommend you to rush the medium airframe and make heavy fighters and tactical bombers. So tactical bomber design is exactly the same with Italy. Let me make it for you. So you put single torpedo mounting and then put the small bomb base. You can, if you want more air defense, put an armor plate. That is usually enough defense, and range is still acceptable. And you don't want to put anything else. You can put flying boat, but the speed loss is too much in my opinion for the surface detection bonus. But if you disagree with this, let me know. So this is an optional one. You can put or remove it depending on what you want. I don't put them usually, but as I said, you can. So use this as a tactical bomber that also does naval bombing, and create a fighter, really heavy fighter. So something like this. It's still decent enough agility for fighter, and escort these bombers with these fighters. You only should build the improved small airframe for torpedo bombers. You don't want small airframes for anything else, because like range is too important as Japan's, and you would want to build these two. and this is quite sturdy as a fighter too. It has 26 air defense and lots of air attack. The agility is a bit low, but it is acceptable because of the range. Other than these things, I think there isn't much you can do. Obviously, before the war in China, you want to get the Yasushi Okamura guy too. And I believe that Airborne Heroes is the best Spirit of Air Force command for Japan. It is usually the best, and you go obviously aircrew surveys. From here, night fighting is the best by far. Go night fighting or always. When you are refitting, if you have excess naval XP, you can get the naval refit yards, then get the integrated designers. But if you just take integrated designers and stay with it for the rest of the game, that's okay too. Instilled aggression is the best out of all this, in my opinion. So after you get, by the way, you can completely ignore Yamashita too, and I usually do that. So I recommend you to do that too, and get the Isoroku Yamamoto to get the doctrines faster. That is more important for Japan than the Grand Battle Plan, because you will already max out the land doctrine. That is not necessary. So I recommend that you ignore Yamashita and go for Yamamoto. So thanks for watching. I hope you learned a lot and I could be helpful. And please subscribe to see more of my content. See you guys soon.